Welcome back to my channel Automation Hub Sarthak guys, and as promised I'm gonna continue with the next video of arrays, that is gonna be the two-dimensional arrays. So just stay tuned. Let's go and make a class 2 underscore d underscore arrays. Okay, so I'll tell you two-dimensional arrays in a very nice fashion. First and foremost, we'll do with the traditional way of designing an array, and then we're gonna use the new keyword to design a two-dimensional array. Okay, we'll go ahead with an integer array because the designing of an integer array is much simpler. We don't have to use a lot of it's simple for all, but I'm just gonna showcase an integer array. Okay, the only difference in making a two-dimensional array is you cannot use only one square bracket. You have to use two, and this square brackets actually represent rows and columns format, because when it becomes dimensions, the rows and columns concept come into picture. So right now the arrays see, there is a certain concept of two-dimensional in Java, especially when it comes to arrays. It's not about two dimensions, it's about arrays in arrays. That's the exact meaning of two-dimensional arrays. The technical term which Java people say is arrays in arrays. Anyways, we'll not get that into too much. We'll just see how it works. And so let's begin. So let's go with the traditional way first. So I have declared an integer array, two-dimensional integer array, and I'll use the traditional method of curly braces. Okay, so because since it is a two-dimensional array, what I'll do is I'll introduce 1 2 3. Okay, I'll close this, I'll put a comment, I'll come down exactly here. Okay, I'll make another curly brace just below this thing, and I'll write 4 5 6. I'll put the curly brace, I'll come down here, I'll terminate it. Okay, so this one, it gets closed here, and these are the values which are here. Now my question here is, if I need to find the size, the number of rows for this particular two-dimensional array, so what should I do? Nothing, very simple. See, so the number of rows for this for integer array is very simple. It is I dot length. We all know this, no big deal. Now the most important interview question is, can you please tell us how to find the number of columns? So this is the actual syntax for the number of columns. The number of columns for int array is this: I 0 dot length. This is how it is. Let's see. So the number of rows of this array is, this is the first row, and the number of columns of this array is 3. Now let me do one thing. Let me add another value here. So do you think the number of columns now, if we run, the output will become 4? Let's find out. Yes, it is. Now let me do one thing. I'll add 2 more here, 7 and 8. I'll save it. Okay, now what do you think? Will the number of columns for this integer array becomes 5, or it remains 4? Let's find out. It remains 4. So technically the upper value is the one which matters. Now let me do one thing. Let me add one more row to it. Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, so 9 10 11 12 13 14. Okay, looks good. So let me run the code for you guys. The number of columns of this integer array is still 4. Why? Because this is 4. So the first value is actually what makes the columns count, but the number of rows has increased to 3. So this is typically like a 3 cross 4 row kind of an array, even if you have written more column values here, but still the size or the number of columns for this particular array is 4. So this is what matters when it comes to declaration of a two-dimensional array in a typical fashion inside curly braces. But this looks a little complicated, and generally 99% of us do not write like this. So I'm just going to tell you how we exactly represent two-dimensional arrays in a normal day-to-day scenario programming. So let's go ahead. Okay. What I'll do is I'll I'll come back to another array, string array. Let's go ahead with string array. Okay. So because we have done with string, we have done with the integer array. Let's go ahead with string. So string str array is equal to new string. How about 3 cross 4? That's enough. Yep, should do. Great. Now what do we need to do? In the one-dimensional arrays, we used to write the indexing position. Similarly here also, since we have hard-coded this particular array to be a 3 cross 4, so we have to introduce the value. We have to do the indexing. Then how is the indexing done? Very simple. You have to go with str 0th and 0th position first. And let's say you are giving something like hello world. Okay. And then you'll have str 0th and the first position. And it's like welcomes. Okay. Then str 0th and the second position. It becomes string u to this. Okay. str 0th, this becomes this form. So just I'm giving some random things. So since this is a 3 cross 4, so it has 4 columns. Great. I've just written for 1 row and 4 columns. I have to write for the second row now. So what you have to do, very simple, don't copy paste like I'm doing. Please write, you have to practice. I know it's a little tedious, but please don't be lethargic like me. I'm too old to not copy paste, but you are too young too, so please go ahead and copy paste. So this becomes 2. Okay, don't copy paste, sorry, please write it, do not copy paste. And I'll write hello world 1, welcomes 1, youth is 1, hello world, and this forum 1, and this one is 2, and this one is 2, and this one is 2, and this one is 2. See, this is how you represent. This is for the first row, this is for the second row, and this is for the third row, and these are the 4 columns each for each and every row. This is for the 0th row, the first row, and the second row, because this is a 3-row array and the indexing starts from the 0th position, and this is a 4-column array and the indexing starts from the 0th position. So this is how you're going to represent this particular 2-dimensional array. So now you understood? Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and let's do something. Let's find all the values of this particular array in a tabular format. Like I want this to be represented in a tabular row and format. So since it's a 2-dimensional array, will only one for loop help us? No, we'll have to use nested for loop. We need at least 2 loops, 2 for loops, an outer loop and inner loop to do this. So I just want this in a proper tabular format. What I'll do, you can use this concept of mine because I find it much easier and convenient. You can go ahead and try your own method. I mean, there are lots of methods you can do this. So my question here is, I want the values of all these values of this particular string array to be printed in the output like a tabular format. Okay, so what I'll do is, let's say I will do one thing. I'll say the rows are like str dot length. Fair enough. I'm just initializing something. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll write the columns are str 0th dot length. Simple, no complication here. Looks good. Great. Now if I want to print all the values in a tabular format, let me go for the first for loop. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll do something like this: row num equals to 0. Okay, row num is less than rows. Okay, row num plus plus. I'll open a for loop. Okay, I'll inside the body of the for loop, I'll write my inner for loop. So, and this comes like column number, okay, equals to 0, okay, column number is less than calls which I have declared, call num plus plus, and I will open the body of the for loop, and this one is also very important. So what do you want to print here? So what is the array? Array is str, and what do you want to print here? Of course you want to print here the row num and the column num, okay, concatenate with a little bit of space. And of course if you want this to be printed in one particular tabular format, you will remove this. And yes, do not forget to, the outer loop is for the rows, the inner loop is for the columns. I think I've explained this specifically in in my nested for loop videos. So I'm just trying to make sure that the rows are coming in a different new line, but the columns are staying in accordance to the rows. Okay, so I've removed ln here, and I've added an ln here in the outer loop, which is for the rows. So let's run this program. See, so now you get it in a very wonderful fashion, in a tabular format, the way you wanted. So it's that simple. I think it's wonderful. You guys can go ahead and use my concept, or you can try your own. Don't use this, don't use rows and columns. If you think you're getting confused, you can try your own method. This thing will work. If you are finding it difficult, please get back to me. I'll definitely solve your queries. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for supporting me so far, and I'm sure you'll keep supporting me in future. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Sarthak here, signing off.